Happy, what are we, Tuesday? Oh, I lost what day I was then. Hi everybody, hope you're all okay. All my cameras have been moved, so no idea what's going on. Hopefully this is working now. Oh, no, see? We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully I'm live, hopefully I'm working, but it's Drew reset everything for us to try and stop that freezing problem and stuff. But I'm just still getting the same message come out. So annoying. Drew doesn't know either how to fix it. So hopefully you can hear me, and hopefully this doesn't freeze too much. He did a load of work on it for me at the weekend to try and make everything go correctly and stop all those stupid tech problems. But I've got an echo. Right. Give me a second. I'll get Drew. 2 seconds. I've got an echo. Drew's off today because he's on Jonah daycare. It's his day off, he's on Jonah daycare, but we've got an echo apparently. So he's just going to fix that. Give me a second. Must have two working. I never know how to do it. That one? That should. Is that stopped? Have we got an echo anymore? Hopefully not. Hopefully that's worked. I'm still getting that funny key rate thing come up. But it's not freezing for you guys, is it? If it's not freezing, then we'll ignore that message, right? But hopefully that will now have stopped echoing and you're all okay. So let's say hello to some people. Hi Anne, hi Jean, hi Carolyn, hi Eileen. Must have more than one microphone on. Yeah, it was. One had managed to get back on again. Hi Claire, hello. Hi everybody, it's all gone now. Brilliant. And it's not freezing today. Hi Jill as well. Excellent, that's what we like. So, what was I going to tell you? Sarah's on holiday. She's off this week. So, she's got a wedding she's gone to today. She looked very lovely. She was all dressed up. She had this little picture. She looked lush. So she's doing that today. And then she's off to a yoga festival with Dave, which is good. Hi Cheryl. Hi Jane as well. Hello everybody. What else was I going to tell you? I've put some new bits into... Oh, I know exactly what I was going to tell you. So there's some fat quarter bundles gone into the daily deals, which are half price. They were 22 quid. They're now £11 something. So they've gone into the daily deals for you. Because we're going to be using mini charms today as well. When we get to the bag, I'll show you in a moment. We're going to be using a mini charm. I've put 10% off all the mini charms. So Beth and I last week, I think it was last Thursday, managed to get all of our mini charms onto the website. Something we've been meaning to do and hadn't got around to doing it. So we've done that now, and there's 10% off them. So instead of £4.95 each, they would be, you'll get, what's that, 49p off? 49p off. So they'll be like £4.50, something like that. They've got 10% off anyway, and you will need a mini charm if you want to have a little go at this bag as well. The pattern that I've done is with a mini charm, so you would need one of those too. So there's that offer. There's the daily deals. I can't remember, there was something else I was going to tell you as well. I can't remember what it is. I'm busy trying to get ready for Hochanda, which is on the 11th, or Crate and Craft, which is on the 11th. And dealing with a lot of stuff for festival quilts as well at the moment. It's all a bit crazy busy. So we're going to crack on, unless anyone's got anything interesting to tell me, and we'll just sit here and have a chat instead. Hi Claire. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make a little mini Mondo bag. So a Mondo bag is... I haven't actually got one to show you because I didn't want to have to make two. I'm going to be honest, I didn't want to make two. I didn't want to make a whole one and then prep another one. So I kind of prepped this one, and you'll see it appear as we do it, okay? Mondo bags, I think were Quilt Antics or Quilt Smart, something like that originally. And they're done, how's the White Gecko quilt getting on? I've started squaring up all the blocks. And then when Sarah's back, we will start putting it all together and stuff. So we will let you know from that. So Mondo bags were done with like printed interfacing, pre-printed interfacing, and you'll see kind of what I mean with this. And you could buy a kit which had the pre-printed interfacing and the instructions and everything on how to do it, the pattern. But you don't need the pre-printed interfacing. It's very easy to do without. Okay, so originally as well, they were all done with charm squares, and they were you'd need, I think it's 3 charm squares to do one. And it was all squares, which you can absolutely do. You can do that. But I thought that's quite a lot of charm squares for a bag. So I've kind of adapted it and to make a slightly smaller version, which is still a good size bag. Well, this is the lining, so you'll see it's a good size. It is a good size bag. That's the lining, which we'll get to later. But also, so you didn't quite need quite as much fabric, quite as many pre-cuts. So I've done it where you're going to use 1 mini charm and then some fabrics. Okay, so. Hi Tina. Yes, Thursday. Anne, you read my mind. It's Thursday evening this week, so I'm here now. Got block of the week tomorrow at 1 o'clock, but Thursday it's an evening class. I'm going to do it at 7 p.m. because we're going to do look at landscape wall hangings, where, or they could be quilt blocks, whatever, but landscape where we're going to cut fabric and stick it and add to it and free motion into it and stuff. So I wanted to give you a little bit more time on that, so more of a technique type of one. So we're going to do that one at 7 p.m. okay, rather than the 1 p.m. on that one. So it's 1 o'clock tomorrow, 7 p.m. on Thursday. Cool. So hi Tina, don't know if I said hello. Right, so I'm going to go over to the overhead. Hopefully I'm over here now. What you're going to need is you'll need a charm pack. So I'm using one of the Ruby Star ones called Honey. It's a really, really funky, bright, crazy one. And I've chosen some fabric to go to that I felt sort of went with it. I quite like this orange bumbleberry with it. Okay, so we're going to do that. So you need 36 2.5-inch squares. So I haven't used quite all of the charm pack. I've got that much left. Mini charm, sorry. You would then need 1/2 metre of your outer fabric, and you need 1/2 metre of your lining fabric as well. You also need some interfacing, okay? So you need some interfacing as well. I've used a medium weight one, but you could use a heavy weight one if you wanted to. But it needs to be the fusible stuff, okay? So you want to make sure you've got the fusible stuff. So I'm going to give you the measurements first of all. To be honest, I haven't had a chance to write this up. So if you want to make one, I'll give you all the measurements, and you just have to like stop me and pause and stop and pause and watch this back. So you want 4 pieces of fusible interfacing, and you're going to cut those at 7.5 by 22. Okay, so 7.5 inches wide by 22 inches long. You want 36 2.5-inch squares. So again, perfect for a mini charm, hence why I've done the 10% off today. You then want 4 pieces which are 14 inches by 7 3/4. You want it just slightly wider than your interfacing. We're going to trim this down once we've started sewing on it, so you will waste a little bit, but I just found that this moved a little bit on the interfacing, so just having that extra 1/4 of an inch worked. So it's 14 by 7 1/4. Okay, and then for your lining, so I'll show you this. So I've just used a real random, this really beautiful rainbow ombre for my lining. I want 4 pieces which are 6.5 by 20. Okay, you also need 4 6.5 by 20 of fleece. Now I've used the fusible fleece, the H640 stuff. It is on our website, but you could just use, you know, normal wadding and spray based it if you want. Okay, so do you want me to run those through those again, or shall I do it at the end? I'll run through all the bits again for you. Yeah, first thing we're going to do is we're literally just going to iron our fabric onto the interfacing. So I'll get that out of the way because I don't need the measurements anymore. So I'm going to pull over my very grubby stained board. It's not the one I take to a Chand. I've got a new one, but I take that one to a Chand, up to a Crate and Craft with me, so I don't want to get that one messy as well and have to buy another one as well. So we're going to grab these 9 of the 36 5-inch, and we're going to lay them out as a little 9 patch on one edge of this interfacing. Okay, so I'm going to literally just lie these out and butt them up together like that. So just kind of butt them up and decide on your pattern. Okay, so I'm going to lie those out as a little group of 9, 3 by 3. Okay, let's have that one there. Let's have that one over here. That one there. Oh, I need 2 more. There we go. Which one should we have else? Let's have that one, because I haven't got any of that colour in this. Like that. And then, should we have the little let's have the little daisies. There we go. So you're going to lie them out. So I've led them on the glue side. Okay, I don't know if you can tell. Can you tell that that's shiny? And that's the glue side. This is the woven side. Okay, so I've led them the wrong side of the fabric onto the glue. Okay. Now you're not overlapping them. You're just butting them all up, and then we're just going to very gently press and hold the iron. Ooh, try not to get the iron hit this bit here, which that nearly did. Ooh, see, just move that. I think I might have hit it a little bit. Just press and hold this down. Okay. So how is everybody? Is everybody at home? Are you on hollybubs? What are you doing? Has anybody been? So what have you been sewing recently? Anything exciting going on? So just iron it down just a weeny bit, just to hold it. We're going to flip it over and press it properly in a minute, but you just want to start to activate that glue. Okay, so you can see it's just laid down like a grid. We're then going to take our piece of outer fabric and we're going to butt that up like that. Now you will, I don't know if you can see just here, you've got a little bit left over. I've done that deliberately because sometimes this moves and shifts and you want it, you want a bit of wiggle room. So that's supposed to be there, okay? So I'm going to lie that one on. I don't know, am I in the right place? I feel like I'm not in the right place for you guys. And again, just press and hold and sort of start from the middle, press and hold, and then gradually work your way out. This bit, be a bit gentle with. You want it all, the more accurately you can get this stuck down, the better your bag will turn out. This is such a cool way of getting like perfect points as well. We'll get perfect points on this little 9 patch. You're trying to assemble a crochet bag. Oh, cool. Are you lining it, Jane? Are you going to line your crochet bag? Because I'm still working my way through that fake Kurt Geiger one that I was doing. And I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have to start lining it soon. So, and I've never done that. So I'm going to have to learn how to do that. Right, so it's kind of almost there, almost stuck down. It's enough now for me to flip it, and I'm going to give it a really good press from this side, just to really activate that glue and make sure it's all stuck in place. Okay, so has anybody made a Mondo bag? Anybody done a Mondo bag? They were like really big a few years ago, and everybody was buying the print. Basically the interfacing just had a grid on them, a 5-inch grid all over them, so you could place your fabrics. That's all it was. So you don't need the grid. You can see that the fabric's a bit bigger, but that's fine. Okay, so that's all nicely stuck now. It seems to work. It seems to be work, sleep, or gardening at the moment. Oh, bless you. Yeah, I know the feeling about the work. I don't feel like I've been on holiday at all. Okay, so what we've got is basically a piece that's going to make the side of one of the bags. Except it's not really a side, it's like a twisted bag, but we'll get there in a bit. First thing we want to do is get rid of all these raw edges. So we're going to fold this over along this first line here, like that. And it'll fold really quite easily. Okay, because you've got a tiny like little gap in between those fabrics. Even though I've butted them up, there's still, a minuscule little gap there. You can fold it over. Oh, Claire, quick random question about the wad-in as part of the raffle prize. Is it the So Simple super soft polyester wad on the website? Yes, it is, lovely. I believe that's the one in the raffle prize. If it's a white one, it's the polyester. If it's a creamier one, it'll be the 80/20. Okay, so fold it over on that one and give it a good press. Give yourself like a real sort of like crease in the interfacing. We're going to do the same on this one, and make sure you do these ones first. Okay, so I'm going to do that one like that, and then we're going to do this edge here between the main fabric and that one. Okay, and just putting those creases, just finger pressing them in to start with. Okay, next little tip that you can do now, if you're you could absolutely do this whole thing with squares. You could put squares all over it. You can just buy extra charm packs and fill it up with squares, okay? I chose to do a big piece so that I wasn't using lots and lots of charm squares. You could, because this is 7, basically it's 3 lots of 2.5, isn't it? So 7.5. You could put jelly roll strips on here if you want. If you've got leftover jelly roll strips, that would work too. I've just chosen to do a big piece of fabric, okay? So in order just to help a little bit, what I want to do is I just, when I'm going to fold this way, because I can fold quite easily here, because I've got those creases, I want that line to follow all the way down. I'm going to draw some lines on the interfacing. So I can find my long ruler, which is there. I'm just going to line up, I don't know how much of this you can see. I'm going to line up my ruler with this line that you can just see through the back, and just give myself a pencil line all the way down. It's basically 2.5 inches in, which if I turn that round will be right from the interfacing. There we go. Let's get that like, oh, come on. Being an idiot, I can't make it line up. There we go. It's because I'm sat down. It's so much easier when I'm stood up. Here we go. Grab a pencil and just need to add a little line down there. Okay, I don't know if you can see that now. So I've added a line there in line with that. I'm going to do exactly the same on that one as well. Like, where is it? There it is there. Okay, so I've just given myself 2 little lines just to follow with my folding. All right, so again, I'm going to now just fold this up like this, and I'm going to fold it all the way along, just on that pencil line. And again, just crease it. I'm doing this all beforehand because it just helps a little bit when you're sewing. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it. I'm going to fold up on this line here and give it a good crease, and then go down that pencil line, which is just like that. Okay, so it doesn't need a massive amount of creasing. It's just purely just to make it a little bit easier when we take it over to the sewing machine. Oh, I haven't stuck quite well enough there. Let me just give that a quick another blast to the iron. There we go. So has anybody made a Mondo bag? So we're going to head over to the sewing machine now, okay? So you can see what I'm doing over here. Has anybody made one of these, or a version of a Mondo bag? I know we did a class ages and ages ago in the shop for them, and it was probably about 5 or 6 years ago when they were like all the rage. So first thing we're going to do is going to do the horizontals, like short edges. So I'm going to fold this over on that, and that's why we just creased it, just to help. I'm using my 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to stitch down 1/4 inch. So this is the folded edge of the interfacing 1/4 inch in. Okay. So there we go. First crease done. Like that. Okay. I'm going to ignore that for the moment. I'm going to go over to this next one. Fold that over like that. And do the same again. Now I'm taking quite a long time to do this because obviously I'm chattering, explaining what I'm doing. These come together really, really quickly. Really quickly. Okay, and then we're going to go over again onto that final crease where the squares hit the main fabric, and again stitch down 1/4 inch. Like that. Okay, so I'm going to come back over and show you a little trick now with these. So I should be over here again, hopefully. Now we're going to do exactly the same on those long edges as well. Okay, we're going to fold those over. But you can see when I fold those over, you're going to have all this bulk here, okay, on the interfacing. So what you want to do before you do it is just clip into this. So I'm just going to clip between the 2 charm packs, obviously being careful not to clip my stitches, just clipping the interface in so I haven't got any of that bulk. And you can see it quite easily through the interfacing because it's quite opaque. Ooh, missed it. Come on, there we go, there and there. Okay, like that. So I've just clipped into each of the, like where that intersection is there. Okay, and that means that when we do these long edges, so if I fold over this first long edge like that, okay, that's just loosened up that interfacing, which means we can make them go either way like that, and you haven't got all that bulk, which can be really messy. Okay, so I'm going to go back over to the machine and we're going to stitch down both of these now. So are you all very, very quiet today, my darlings? Is everyone okay? Are you just listening? Are you concentrating, or are you having a chat? Anybody there? Please do talk to me, otherwise it's just me rabbiting on. So has anybody got any ideas of what they'd like to see next week? Because I've got to start thinking about what we're going to do next week. Is there anything that you've thought, oh, I've seen that and I fancy giving that a go, or I'm stuck on this? Maybe we could do a 1 o'clock on it. Oh, let me just make sure that that's tucked under. I'm just making sure that those are tucked under, and then I'm going to work my way all the way down to create. Now you don't necessarily have to, but I like the look of it. Okay, I like the look of this, of putting this line of stitching all the way down. I'm going to go all the way down there, like that. Okay. You're watching intently. You've not been on for a long time. Lost your sojo. Oh, bless you. Oh, is there something you've always wanted to do, Jackie, that you thought that might get your sojo back? Maybe? You're just fascinated taking it all in, Patricia. Oh, bless you. There we go. And I'm going to fold back on this one like that. So yeah, Jackie, if you've lost your sojo, what might help you get it back? Okay. And when you're flipping, let me show you this. Where we flip these one way and the other, make sure these ones are flipping like the same way so that you haven't got a twist or anything, okay? And again, I'm going to stitch all the way down. Is there a project or a technique you've always thought, oh, I fancy giving that a go? Maybe it's something we could look at and, you know, help you get your sojo back, or just make something really frivolous and fun that, you know, you've always wanted to do, or something for yourself, maybe. I find sometimes that helps. There we go, just making sure those interfacings are going in opposite directions. Jane, maybe how to line a crochet bag. I really should, shouldn't I? That's what I should do. Would make me do it, wouldn't it? Oh, I know what, I remember the other thing I have to tell you. So, the new quilt along is going to start next Wednesday on the 3rd of August. In fact, I'll just do this bit and then I'll come over to you and show you and talk to you properly about it. I knew there was something else I had to tell you. So what you've done is, cross those ways first. We clip those corners so that they lie nice and flat and they've gone in opposite directions and all the way down. You've got to give it a good press now, okay? That would be good. Just something for fun. Absolutely, Jackie. Just something you think, oh, you know, if you always fancied having a go at dressmaking or something, or just something for the house, just something quick, a nice new pillow for your bed, just something to make you sit at the sewing machine and give it a go. Okay, so I'm giving this a good press now. It doesn't matter which way you press it, you just got to press them. Give that a really good press. Okay, like that. And hopefully you can see on here how neat all your intersections are. All your points meet nicely because of how we did it on here. Okay, so that they have to, basically. They have to meet because of how we did that. Okay, so hang on, sorry, the laptop is just far and away that I can't quite read your comments. I was wondering when you were planning on starting the quilt along. Cheryl, you've just dug up some potatoes from your garden and could do with a potato storage bag. That would be easy. Would that be easy to make? Oh, I think it would be. I'll have a little look for you, love, if you like. I'll have a little research and I'll see what a potato storage bag looks like and how easy it would be to do. That might be a good idea, actually. Maybe some bits for the garden. Like maybe a gardener's apron or something. You know, I know we did ages and ages ago, like an apron for collecting eggs and bits and pieces if you've got an allotment and stuff. But I'll have a look. Right, so Carol, sorry you're late. I forgot what you were on. That's okay. You're just in time for me to announce the quilt along for next week. I'm going to keep it as a bit of a mystery quilt along. It's only going to be 3 sessions, okay? So it's going to be next Wednesday evening, and then 2 weeks later, or 1 week later, 2 weeks later, next Wednesday evening, and then 2 weeks later the Wednesday after. Okay, so it's only 3 sessions. You are going to need a jelly roll, and the quilt will, hang on, let me give a book. The quilt comes out as, it's a big quilt, okay, or biggish quilt. So I've also been planning the Christmas quilt along as well. Where's my measurements gone? So if you do the full size quilt, okay, it'll be 60 inches by 78, which is a good size quilt. If you want to make that size quilt, you'll need a full jelly roll, and you will need 2 meters of background fabric. That's it, okay? If you want to make a slightly smaller version, which would be 60 by 60, so basically a square one rather than a rectangular one, you would need a full jelly roll, and you can get away with a junior jelly roll, you know, like the ones we do in grunge and stuff like that, okay? So if you want to do the full size, 60 by 78, 2 meters of fabric and a jelly roll. If you want to do a 60 by 60, full jelly roll and a junior jelly roll will do it. Or cut your own fabric, 1.5 meters of fabric, and you can cut your own strips. Okay, so that's what you're going to need. The first, week 1, there's some certain, they are, you know me, I don't do complicated. It looks a complicated block. It's not, okay, I promise. So the first week we're going to do cutting and prepping, because you do need to be a weeny bit organised with this one, because it's to do with keeping certain pairs of jelly roll strips together. Okay, so get yourself some clips, binding clips, and some little, you know, poppy bags that you can put one set in and stuff. So we're going to do all the cutting and prepping on week 1. The second week we're going to do the first part of the block, and then the third session we'll be finishing off that block, and then I'll show you how to, we're going to do a special type of sashing with, well, not special type of sashing, but a type of sashing with it, to complete the look of the quilt. Okay, so it's only like a mini quilt long, it's not a massive long one. It's a decent sized quilt, and I'm really thrilled with the block. The block has come out really, really well, and I'm loving it. It might go on my bed, this one, because I'm really, really loving it. So that will be the quilt long. It starts next Wednesday. So get looking through your stashes for a jelly roll. We've got lots and lots of, you know, white and whites, cream on creams, greys, all that sort of thing in stock if you need background fabric. We have got junior jelly rolls in stock if you want to do the smaller version. We've also got lots of jelly rolls, so if you haven't got one there you like, I'm sure you'll find one on the website. So that's starting next Wednesday. I will put all of this detail into a post for you, okay? Oh, a quilt along regarding the jelly roll. Does it matter how much contrast it is in there for the jellyfish? No, really doesn't. I wouldn't maybe go with something like, let me try and think one. Something like the Best of Morris one, because as much as I love those fabrics, they're all very, very dark, okay? You are better off, most jelly rolls go, you've got a range of colours, haven't you? You've got light to darks, or like the Ruby Star, the Spectrum stuff, where you've got a rainbow. That would work really, really well. As long as you've got a little bit of contrast. But it doesn't have to be contrast as in tonal, it could be colour contrast. So yeah, I would maybe look at your jelly rolls and think, okay, so this one is all very, very blue. Maybe not. If it goes like, if it's all like goes from like white to pale blue through like the Sister Bay one, that would be perfect, because you've got like this beautiful soft creams that go through to like those pale duck eggs through to a teals and a little bit of navy. That would work. But if it's all blue, you know, as in tonally the same, it wouldn't work. If it's a rainbow, you know, right the way through, or a change of colours. Does that make sense? So you definitely need, can it be made into a lap quilt? Yes, you can do as many or few block. The block is the same. It's about the colours, colour changes in it. So you could just do 4 blocks if you want, Carolyn, which would be sort of a 45 by 45 type size. Yes, absolutely, you can do that if you don't want to do a big quilt. You can also quilt as you go, which we'll talk about in the 3rd session, if you don't want to have to quilt the whole thing. What about French generals? Yes, French general is absolutely fine, because you've got a range of colour. It goes from this, you know, if like the V Bohème, it's got a bit of blue in it as well, isn't it? But or La Rose Rouge or Le Jardin. They go from creams through to sort of like mid pinkies, you know, mid reds, and through to dark reds. So that's fine as long as you've got some sort of contrast. Cool. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if there were any other questions there. Carol, you've been away for 4 days to Hereford. Now want to do a bit of sewing before the next holiday. Ah, lush. Oh, next holidays. Lovely. You're going away again. Cool. There we go. Yeah. So hopefully that's all your questions. But ask any questions and I'll do them later for you. Okay. So that but I'll put it all that in a post so you can refer back to it. That starts on Wednesday. So come back over here. So you can see now, back to the Mondo bag. I knew there was something I had to tell you this morning. The first thing, I knew there was another thing. We've got something that looks like that now. Okay, so you've got your 9 patch up here and then you've got your big piece of fabric there. You now want to trim this down so that it measures 6.5 by 20. Okay, what about fossil fern? Yeah, fossil fern would work, absolutely. It would work. I'm using something similar to the fossil fern. So yes, fossil fern would work absolutely fine. So I'm just going to trim off this excess bit of interface in here first. Okay. Some colours suggest not all lights or all mediums or darks. Yes, perfect, unless it's multiple colours. Yeah, absolutely. So it could be all medium tones as long as they were all different colours. But don't go with something that's... The Best of Morris is the only one that I can think of as an example that we've got in the shop at the moment. It's all very dark and there's not much colour difference in them as well. They're all very dark greens and very dark reds and very dark blues. You want a little bit of contrast there. Okay. Not heard of one. Not heard of one. What a... Quilt along. Quilt along is basically you're going to stitch along with me and make a quilt, lovely, if that's what you mean, Carol. So, right, okay, so I want to trim this down, make sure it's 6.5 by 20, and just for ease, I'm going to use my big ruler. Get the monster out. Okay, so make sure that that's 6.5, which it is, which is perfect. In fact, I don't think I've got to trim, just a tiny little bit up in that corner there. So like that and like that. There we go. Tiny little bit. It should hopefully come out at 6.5 by 20. You just you know, square it up a weeny bit. You can see that's it. That's all I've had to trim off. So make 4 of them. Okay, you're going to make 4. Let me just. All my rulers have fallen over. I'm being a right messy bugger today. You're going to make 4, which is what I've done here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I've got 4 of these. I'm just going to make this camera go up a little bit more because I'm very close. It's not giving me a very wide shot, so I can't really show you what I'm doing. So I'm just going to do that a second, okay? So 4 pieces exactly the same, and these are going to make the sides of the bag. First thing we're going to do is we're going to stitch 2 of them together. All right, so I want 1. So this is the top of my bag, right? So I'm working on the bottom here. This is going to be the base. So I'm going to put that one out like that, and I'm going to join this one down here. Okay, so that one's good. So I'm going to make this big L shape. Okay, big L shape. So I'm going to put these right sides together like that. There and there. Okay, I'm just going to use some clips at this point. I have been doing a Christmas quilt along as well, which hopefully we will start at mid to end of September, so that it'll be ready in time for Christmas. Okay, so that's going to go along there like that. Okay, I'm going to repeat that with the other one. So I'm going to have my top out to the left like that, and then this one's going to come off the bottom. I'm going to make that big L shape and then flip it over and add that in like that. Right there and there. And we're going to stitch across here on both of them. All right, so I'm going to take this over to the machine, 1/4 inch seam allowance, stitch all the way down. Okay, I lie, you're not going to stitch all the way down. You're going to stop about 1/4 inch away from the edge and back stitch. Okay, so we're going to start right at the edge here, 1/4 inch all the way down, get to this point, just before you get about 1/4 inch away and back stitch. Okay, I'm going to do the same on that one as well. So let's go over here and tuck it under the machine. I'm trying to not burn myself on the iron because I keep moving it. So there we go. So I'm going to take a couple of little stitches and just lock that off there. And so I might have missed a few questions so about whether you've made a Mondo bag before or whether what you're making at the moment. I think I saw that Susie's been making drawstring bags as gifts, which is a really nice idea. It's such a nice sustainable thing to do as well, that, isn't it? So I've got about 1/4 inch away and I'm just going to back stitch so that it's nice and secure. Okay, there we go. I'm going to do the same on the other one. So basically you're making like 2 big L shapes, which again, at the moment, don't look much like a bag. All the way down. Take those clips out as I go. Nearly to the end. There, and then just back stitch. Just leaving that little tiny bit of wiggle room on this edge here against here. Okay. So back over here. So I've been chattering. This is taking a lot longer than I thought. Poor Beth's in the shop by herself. So I've got one big L like that, and I've got another big L that looks exactly the same. All right. We're now going to turn this one so that it sits here. Now, can you see this is the lines we've just sewn? We're going to basically line those up. So you've got this like massive windmill shape at the moment. Again, doesn't look much like a bag. So I'm going to just finger press the seam towards like the shorter piece. Okay, just found that that was easier. So finger press that one that way, finger press that one that way, like that. And then we're going to line up that line there, that seam there, right sides together, like that. And then nest that seam to start with. Okay. Grab my clips back. So I don't know what the weather's like by you guys, but it's warm here today, but it's not very sunny. It's not very interesting. You can see I'm just lining this all up, raw edges together, like that. And now I'm going to stitch. Obviously, don't worry about stitching this bit. I'm going to stitch from just here, again about 1/4 inch in, all the way down, and I'm going to stop about 1/4 inch from the end as well. So back over here. And honestly, we're nearly done. This is, we've got a couple of random little bits that we've got to do. I won't do all the top stitching and all in the bag because it really will be here forever otherwise. I'm going to go down there like that. All the way down. Oh, my camera's just fallen over. All the way down here. I'm going to have to grab that before it disappears onto the floor. All the way down, and again stop about 1/4 inch away from the edge. There we go. Oh, just pick that camera up quickly. There we go. I think I might be wonky now. I think everything's moved. Oh, get out of the way. There we go. So back over here, and what we've got now is this big stitched windmill. You see this big windmill, all right? And we just want to again finger press that, finger press it. You can take it to the big ironing board. I'm not going to attempt it on this little one, so you're just watching with interest. Ah, cool. There we go. Finger press that. All right. So you've got this. In fact, actually, if I just come over here a second, you can see you've got this big, like pinwheel shaped thing. All right. It looks nothing like a bag at the minute. It will do in a moment, I promise. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, I'm hoping I've tried to move the camera up as much as I can so that you guys can see this. Hopefully this is in shot. This edge here needs to end up along that edge there. Right? So I'm going to fold this over, fold all of this bit here like that. Like that, so you're lining up that edge with that edge like that. Okay, so I'll just do that again for you just so you can see. All right, so this edge here needs to be joined to this one, so we're going to just fold it so this creates like a diagonal here. We're going to line up those raw edges. All right, I'm going to put some clips in. You've made a couple, but just out of large pieces of fabric. Yes, absolutely, you can do. You don't even have to do all the squares. You could just use big, large pieces of fabric. I mean, I quite like the squares. I think it adds a little bit of interest and stuff, but you could just have done them all out of big pieces of fabric. Big rectangles and joined it all together. We're going to stitch from here all the way down to here. Okay, so all the way along. Okay. I'm going to tuck this under like that. Move that first one out of the way. 1/4 inch. Again, it doesn't have to be 1/4 inch. It could be edge of foot if you wanted to. If you just, if you want to just use edge of foot, that's absolutely fine. But I've got my 1/4 inch foot on, and it is enough. Okay. All the way down. Just making sure that that is all nice and flat just there. And I want to stop. Oh. Yeah, see, there's me saying using the 1/4 inch foot. I've got caught on the fabric. There we go. Just there and back stitch because you want it to be nice and secure. Okay, cut my thread. Back over we go. There we go. So I've added that first one on. Okay, like that. You can see that's there, and that's kind of now attached to there. We're going to rotate it like this. Ignore this one. And we're going to do exactly the same. So we're going to add that one to that one. So fold it. Okay, so I've done this side. So my next one is here. I'm working round. I'm actually working anti-clockwise, but it doesn't really matter. It's just that's how it works for me. So anti-clockwise over onto this one. So that edge is going to come all the way over to, oh, hang on, just manipulate it a bit, give it a bit. See, it doesn't want to move because of that bit. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to stick some pins in this. Clips there. Line up those raw edges. There. There. And where's that clip gone? There. Okay, I'm going to stitch that one, but because I'm going to do all the stitching in one, I'm going to pretend I've stitched that one already. And I'm going to move it around again. So this edge is coming over here. Okay, so this one comes all the way over here. Move all this out of the way. I'm going to line up that one. Just more clips. These are, I mean, when you do these with a the bigger size with a charm pack, they make really, really roomy bags, but with a really nice square base. So they are genuinely brilliant for like food shopping and stuff because they sit in shopping trolleys nice and easily. They make great beach bags. They're also great for like storing quilts if you're taking quilts to class, or you're going to store some quilts because they're a nice big roomy one. Okay, so I'm going to do those two before I do the last one. Okay, so you definitely need to talk to me now, guys, because I'm going to have to whiz through these so I can show you how to put it all together. Okay. There we go. Oh, caught. Oh, I've just gone really wonky. Let's get rid of that and start again. Because I was caught on my belt. There we go. Why aren't you going through? Come on. There we go. Got caught on something. I think it's one of these little threads got caught. I'd actually slow it down. I'm sewing very fast, but I would slow it down at this on these. There we go. All the way down, nearly there, nearly to that edge. Just make sure that that's lined up nicely. And I want to stop just there. And you'll see the seam that you want to stop on. There we go. And then I'm just going to do that other one before I do the last one. There we go. So just there. Get that under the machine. Hold it down nice and steady. So you're basically just working around, joining the side pieces up. Okay. And I'm making this look like much harder work than it actually is. You made, Sarah Jane made a similar bag with big strips. I did start, but how much? Yes, I think she did. That was like a big windmill, wasn't it? Yeah. Basically, this will work for any size as long as the strips are 3 times the width, the length of the strip. Oh, I should have backstitched, hang on. It's because I pressed the wrong one. I pressed the cut instead of the backstitch. Let me just backstitch that so it's nice and neat. Yes! See, oh, I'm repeating ourselves. We've done so many of these now, we're repeating ourselves. Although I don't think we've done the original Mondo before, which is what this one is. So, and then my last one, I'm just going to do exactly the same. So I'm just going to do that while I'm sat here a second. Yeah, these work any size as long as the length is 3 times the size of the width. So if it was a 10-inch wide strip, you'd want it to be 30 inches long, the rectangles that you start with. If it was 5 inches, you'd want it to be a minimum of 3. Sorry, it doesn't have to be exactly 3. This one's slightly more, but a minimum of 3 inches. So yeah, if you look, if it was 5 inches across, or 5 inches across, it would be 15 inches long. Okay, this is 6.5, which technically should be what, 19.5. I just did 20 because I had a 20-inch ruler there and it was easier, frankly. As long as it's a minimum of, you've got enough to sort of wrap and make the bag. There we go. Oh yeah, if you've already done one of these with Sarah Jane with just the strips of fabric, then yeah, let me see and stick them on picklers, or get them out and finish them. There we go. Okay, so back over here. Now I've done all 4 sides, okay? Like that. So you now have more of a, I mean, if I come over here, a bag shape, okay, inside out. I'm going to turn it right sides out for now, okay? I think these would make really good storage baskets as well. If you did this on Bozal and then put a lining on it, they'd make really funky, like storage, you know, like almost like waste paper bins, that sort of thing, okay, like that. And you've got these lovely, in fact, if I just come to here a second, you've got these lovely sort of like squares that are now on point at the top of the bag, okay, like that. You're going to then come over, if I come back over here, you're then going to make yourself a lining, okay? Just put that aside for now and you make yourself a lining exactly the same way, okay? So each one of these rectangles was 6.5 by 20, which is the same as the outside, and I laid them out in that bit, those 2 double L's, and put them all together exactly the same way. So I've got this, I love this fabric. I'd forgotten all about it, to be honest. I found it yesterday, well, the day before, when I was looking for fabrics to do a lining, and I was like, oh, this is pretty. So I forgot about it, and it actually works really well for a lining because it sort of changes colour and stuff. It's an ombre. I can't remember what it's called actually, but yeah. So lining of the bag. Turn this one wrong side out, like that, okay? And that's going to sit, this is now going to sit, the inside is going to sit inside, all right? So I'm going to shove it all in. In fact, I'll just come over here because it's easier, this, because it's big. Shove it all in, and you want to line up the points, okay? So you're going to put that point to that one. And I actually find that easier to do that first and just put a clip there, like that. Line up the points, like that. Line up the point there. Oh, I've been going on for ages today, haven't I? This is a really long one. Sorry, guys. It's taken way longer than I thought. Like that. Keeping you a long time. And then that one to there, like that. Now, before we stitch any of this up, we need to sort the handles out. But I like to do this bit first just to make sure that it is definitely going to fit, which it is. So I push all those corners in, make sure that it's all correct. Move that corner needs to go in there, or like that, okay, which it is. Everything's all now together. So hang on, I've got a flipping pop up, there we go, get rid of that. So I'm going to use some of this cotton webbing for my handles, but you could make a handle out of fabric, you know, doing the fold in half inside like that and stitch if you want, but I thought I'd use some of this amazing neon, which I would pick up some of the neon pinks. There's some neon pinks and stuff in there, so I thought that would look really good. And what you're going to do is I think about 25, 26 inches per handle is plenty. All right, so I'm just going to chop this one in half. Yeah, that's 26 now, which is about right for this size bag. Okay, we're going to sandwich this in and into here, and I'm going to baste it. Okay, now I like to baste it onto the wadding. All right, so I'm going to put it across like that, and I'm just going to put a line of stitch in there. Okay, so sorry, I'd like to put it at the end of the point and then baste about and in where it hits the what's the word, where it hits the edge of the fabric to the edge of the fabric. So you want that extra bit there for the strength. Okay, so that's going to go in that, and then this one is going to go on the next one along. All right, so I'm going to come to the next point along like that. Make sure it's not twisted. Sorry, this is really hard to show you. And then put that at the top. Make sure that that's hitting the sides like that. I'm going to baste that into place. So, no, I think it was the bag you were talking about earlier. Ah, right, fair enough, my dear. So the Mondos you were talking about, yeah, which is what this one is. There we go. I'm just going to put the other foot on because it's just a bit easier at this point. Okay, so I'm just going to, so you want to make sure your straps are not on opposite, they're following on from each other. All right, so I'm going to start stitching where it hits the edge like that. Oh. And go straight across, because it's a bag handle, you want it to hold the weight. So why are you going so slowly? There we go, back across it. Just give it an extra little bit of basting like that, and then do exactly the same on this one. So right the way across. Oh, it's on a real go slow on the back stitch. Why do you want to go slow on the back stitch? I know it's a bit slower than normal. There we go. Once I've basted that in, I'm then just going to make sure it's tucked down in between the lining, and I'm going to line up those points like that. So there and there, and I've made sure it's all tucked in. Okay, so put some extra clips on around that corner. Stick another one there, like that. I'm going to do exactly the same on these two. Okay, so let's take that off there. Put this end in like that. So I like to put the edge there, so I know it's roughly in the right place. Stitch it down. Go slow. I don't know what's going on with my reverse. Normally if I double tap the foot it goes a bit speedier. And then last one here. We are very nearly there, I promise. We just got to do the last little bit of stitching. Poor Beth, left her to it, haven't I, for far too long. It'll be a quicker one tomorrow. You won't have to listen to me. I'm just going to do one line for now. Okay. There we go. Shove that back inside, so I'm putting it between the lining and the outer. Like that. Did I just twist that? Oh, I flipping have as well. Have I twisted it? Oh no, I haven't. No, I haven't. I thought I twisted it. There we go. In like that. And then again, just reline those up. There. And there. And then again, make sure that's all tucked inside. Reline up those points first. Okay. So there. And there. Right, I'm just going to come back over to the overhead very quickly. Okay, so my handles are in. That's all now pushed back down in. I've lined up my points. I'm just going to then sort of line up my valleys as well and put a clip in there, just so that I know it's in correctly. There. So line that up. Clip in there. You can put some extra clips in all the way around if you want, like that. In fact, I will put one there because that one's misbehaving a weeny bit. Let's line up that valley there. And I do the points and the valleys because I think it just helps. If you've got any excess here, you can kind of ease it in a little bit. You know, if you're cutting or anything, it's gone a weeny bit wonky. Get those points and valleys in first, and then you can, you know, pull and stretch and wiggle it around a bit if you need to. Oh, I just broke my poor nails, desperately need doing. I'll go see Maggie next week. There we go. Nearly there. Right. What we're going to do now is we're going to stitch this together all the way around, except for one side. So I'm going to leave that side open. Okay. I'm going to start up here. Okay. I'm going to stitch all the way down, all the way around, but we're going to leave one side open. So I'm not going to put a clip there. In fact, I'm going to put a big pin there, so I know not to stitch that bit, because we're going to pull everything through there. Okay. In fact, actually, should I leave more than that? Do you know what? I can't remember. Sorry, it's been ages since I made one of these. I can't remember whether I'm going to leave it both open just in case, because that looks like it's never going to go through there. All that bag, it's never going to go through that gap. I'm going to leave this V open. I'm going to stitch the rest of it. My brain went complete blank then. I was like, that's not right. I'm going to take this bit off here, like that, because it's just easier to get it all in. And away we go. So I'm going to use edge of foot, so I've got a slightly bigger seam allowance. And up we go. We're going to go all the way down. No, why is my foot playing up? Here we go. All the way down that way. I'm going to up my... Sorry, excuse me. Up my stitch length a little bit, because I'm going through a lot of bulk and wadding. I'm going to get down to the seam here, see where the seam is. Come down to there, one more stitch, stop, and then I can pivot round and I'm in the right place. Ooh, there goes a binding clip on the floor. Find that in a second. All the way up to there, stop and pivot, and you just work your way around. So talk to me please, lovelies, while I do this, because otherwise you've got to listen to me to get all the way around this. It's that bit, and you can, I don't know if you can see, but you can just see the seam there, which is where I want to stop, which is just there. Right. Puts me in the perfect place to go around this side. I'm doing this way faster than I would normally. I would take my time a little bit here, okay, and go around nice and neatly, but I'm just trying to get round for you so that I can pull it out and show you. There we go. Nearly there. You find that where that seam is there. Hit that seam there. Round we go again. Oh, don't move, fleece. There we go. Up to this bit here. I see, it's gone fast on my reverse now. Didn't want to do that a minute ago, did it? So, let's come back over here, back on. There we go. Take all these clips out, and I've left that bit open, which I think you can actually get away with half, you know, like only doing that, but I'm going to leave it for now, leave it like that for now, because I can't remember, to be honest. And then we're going to pull it through that gap. Okay, so we're going to pull it all the way through. Yeah, I'd never have got all of this bulk through one half. I think you do leave the whole thing open and then top stitch it shut. Okay, like that. Pull these out. You right, Al?
Yeah.
There we go. Push those out. No. You do. You have to come down halfway and halfway because of the straps. Hang on, let me do that real quick. Any idea where you might be able to get in the Soline glue refill pens in? Soline glue refills, we've definitely got some in stock. I will, I'll make sure I update the website in a moment for you. Frixon, no idea, my darling, to be honest. I'm going to shove this back in and just do that little bit extra. We are really struggling. The wholesaler we normally buy them from haven't had them for about a year. I'm going to suggest you go to Tesco's, the big Tesco's at Culver House, like a big one, not just a little extra, because they sell them in there. They sell them in there. And we just can't get them at the minute. There seems to be a massive shortage of them. Right, so I've come back here. I remembered now. You need to come down about halfway and then you leave this bit open to pull through. You've got to enclose that handle. So let me just very quickly do this bit. As I knew it wasn't quite right. I knew that wasn't quite right. But yeah, and Frixon, you might get them on the Amazon word, the A word, but we haven't been able to get any for ages. But refills, I'm pretty sure I've got them. I just haven't updated the website yet, but I will do. Here we go. Okie doke. Right. Now this'll work. That's better. You've got a gap to push through, but your handles are enclosed, which is what you want. Sorry, it is a while since I've made one of these, and I was like, yeah, I remember how to do them. I remember. It's the big windmill. It's the putting it all together. I forgot the last little bit. So push it all through. Birth the bag. Okay, if you give the handles a bit of a tug like that, it pulls those points out. There we go, and then shove the lining back inside. I'm gonna wrestle this a second, hang on. Okay, and then, so what I found is, like, oh, I didn't clip any of it. It's because I'm rushing, because I've been an hour. Clip all of these bits, okay? Clip these bits, all right? Didn't clip it. I don't know why this is taking so long. I prepped most of it. It's because I'm yappering on. Okay, these won't lie flat because they need clipping, okay? But you would then just fold this over like you do with any gap. And just clip that, and then you're gonna, once you've clipped it, I'll turn this back outside later, right inside out later, and clip it, okay, like that, and then you would top stitch nice and close to the edge all the way around to cover up this opening, okay, and it also makes everything lie nice and flat as well if you do that. So if I just put some clips there, okay, so you then top stitch all the way around the top. And when you shove that bit in there properly, like that, it's a mess because it needs clipping. But I'll come back over here for you. That then is your mini Mondo, which, believe it or not, is the smaller version than the big one. So we've used 9 patch. So if you were using a charm pack, you'd still do 3 across, but it'd be not charm pack all the way. But I quite like the just that little bit of detail at the top. I think it's a really nice way of doing a charm pack as well, because you get your points really, really nice and neat. It is completely reversible. You're right, it's completely reversible. So once I've stitched that up, if you don't want all that showing, it is completely reversible because the opening bit is at the top. So there you go, completely reversible. So you could do double lots of strips or 2 nice fabrics. Oh, I love this fabric, this rainbow fabric. It's like a muted rainbow. It's really good, an ombre muted rainbow. Yeah, so yeah, completely reversible. So that is a mini Mondo. I'm sorry it took so long. It's because I was gas bagging, I think. But I'll clip all that properly and I'll show you tomorrow once I've clipped it and sealed the gap up. Okay, but you can see it's a really, if I just come to this way a bit, it's a really nice size. It's a good tote bag size. It folds up nice and small as well. Yeah, I didn't clip in here, so you can see here it's a bit, I need to go back in there and get rid of that bulk, but it's a cute little bag. You get a hell of a lot in there. I like the fact it's got a completely square bottom. Look how pretty that looks in there. It's got a completely square bottom, which means it stands up nicely as well. If you put it into your shopping trolley or on the beach or something, it stands well. It's got a nice base to it. So yeah, that's a little mini Mondo. Because we're using a mini charm, like I said, you've got 10% off all mini charms on the website. I used 1/2 metre of my outside fabric, 1/2 metre of my lining fabric, what's that, 1.5 metres of cotton webbing, because they were 26 inches each, and then interfacing. But I'll put a little post up, okay, so that you've got the instructions, and I will try and write it up, but you're probably best listening. Well, don't listen to me yabber on, put me on mute. Just watch what I did. I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to go and rescue Beth now, bless her. It's been such a long time today. I never normally do them this long. I will be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock with Block of the Week, and then Thursday at 7 p.m. for landscape wall hangings. And we're going to go through about changing a photo into a landscape and picking your fabrics and you're applying them and stitching into them and stuff. Okay, so it'll be a slightly longer one, so you might want to grab your tea and a cuppa or nice G&T. Join me for that one. I will see you all tomorrow, guys. Take care. Bye.